Hi, my name is Bev Johnson Bender, and I want to talk to you today about one of the ways that I help people bring their challenges to conclusion. I work in the pre and perinatal field, and what I do is I help people to go back and unravel where these challenges may have originally occurred. I know it seems funny to think that the time period when we were gestating might actually influence our daily decisions, but rest assured, they do. So, what we have to understand is that there are 5 stages to our birth sequence, and this birth sequence recapitulates itself every day in our life, often many times over again. So, the birth sequence is like this underlying pattern that we have, and every time we go to do something in our life, to set an intention, to take an action, it actually recapitulates this birth process in some way. So if there are different stages in our birth process that were challenged in some way, where our nervous system got a little bit overridden, we might have a little bit of trouble navigating these stages in our experience in our daily life. So just to remember, we always have this underlying birth process, and then over top we have this overlay of every intention that we set out to do that copies the birth process. So first of all, I'm going to explain the stages that are part of the sequence. The first stage is our preconception stage, and that's about 3 months before we were actually conceived. What was the energy like in our family system? Were our mom and dad happy? Were they worried? Was the social environment calm, or was there some stress, some strife in the world at the time that might have been affecting our parents? Those things would influence our preconception, our choice. Do I want to come in and have an incarnate life or not? So if we decide to come in and have an incarnate life, then we're conceived. And that part of the sequence is known as the preparation stage. So we're getting ready to actually grow a body. So then once we've gotten to that stage, then we go to the next stage, which is the implantation stage. What was going on for our parents and our social environment at the time. So this is when we attach to our mom's womb and we actually start growing our little body. And we call that the action stage. So then the 4th stage is the discovery stage. And that's actually, that's known as the follow-through stage, and that's actually our birth. And so then, after we're born, we go into the 5th stage, which is the post-discovery period. And that's the stage right after we're born. And that stage can last for some people up to 4, 5, 6, maybe even 7 years, depending on how their nervous system was able to manage during this whole period, because we're actually integrating all of that information that we experienced during that time. So our nervous system is integrating all of that. So now we go to how does that experience recapitulate itself in today's events. So I'm going to just give you a short example of how an event from today would overlay that system, and how that sequence is going to influence our decisions and our actions in this event that we're going to play out. So let's say my friend Josie decides that it's spring. I can see that I have to go outside and rake the grass. So that would be her intention, and that would be the overlay of the conception part of her birth process. So if everything was relatively easy in her conception stage, she'll be like, yeah, I gotta go rake the grass. Easy decision to make. If things were a little bit incongruent in that part of her system, she might have a little bit of trouble just even making that decision to go and break the grass up. So that's an example of how the early process could affect her decision today. So let's just say that somehow she makes the decision she's going to rake the grass. So now she has to prepare. So what were things like for Josie in her conception stage? Were things good for mom and dad? Was there strife in the family? Was there strife in the world that was affecting them? That would affect Josie. So it might be hard for Josie to figure out all the things she has to do to prepare to rake the grass. She has to get bags, she has to find gloves, she has to get a rake, she has to get the right rake. If things in her conception field were relatively easy, Josie will probably not have too much trouble going ahead and getting this plan to come together. However, if things were a little bit incongruent, she might forget the bag, she might forget the rake, she might only get one rake, not the right one, this kind of thing. So Josie gets through all that, she gets prepared. If it was easy or not, she will finally get prepared and she'll move into action. So action overlays the part of her birth process where she was developing her body. So how are things at that stage of her development with mom and dad and with her social environment? If things were relatively good, Josie will just be able to get out there and just get all those items out in the yard, get raking the grass, get it all in the bags, get it out to the dumpster, everything will go easily. But if things in her family field when she was developing were a little bit incongruent, then again, maybe she won't have enough energy to rake all the grass up. Maybe she won't remember where she put all the bags or this kind of thing. The action might not move really, really easily for her. So let's say that she finally gets everything all raked up and now she's going into follow through. She's winding the job up. So now she's going to have to, just to go back, she's winding the job up. And so this overlays that part of her birth process where she was being born. How were things in her birth? If things in her birth were easy, follow through will probably be pretty gentle for her. If things in her birth were difficult, follow through might be difficult too. It might not be easy for Josie to move out of cleaning up the grass and putting all the bags in the bins and putting everything away. She might not really want to stop. She might want to keep working. Or maybe things will just keep getting in the way where, the phone rings and she just can't get back outside to get everything put away. Maybe somebody drops in. Like there'll be interruptions where she can't finish the job. Might be something like that. Let's say Josie gets through all of that and she gets to the integration stage. So the integration stage is comparable to the first few years of life while Josie was integrating her birth process. So how is this experience of raking the grass going to integrate for Josie? Is it going to feel good that she got out there, she did the grass? Is she going to feel that she got lots of sun on her face and it was rejuvenating? Or is integration going to be a little bit confusing? Is she going to feel like she did a good job? Is she going to worry that she got too much sun on her face? All these kind of things. That's part of integration. So this is a brief description of a very big topic. But it gives you an idea of how your birth process might influence the decisions that you're making every single day in your life and where you might get a little bit hung up. So if this feels like a way that would be helpful for you to to take a look at some of your challenges, to look at it through the lens of the pre and perinatal viewpoint, I would be happy to help you work through your struggles and just to go back to those very early days and help you to see how those influences back then are coming through today. I hope you have a great day. Bye.